You're back in Maryland, though.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be back?
It's good. It's nice to come out to meets that I'm used to, attending back in high school. And I know Donnie Mickey asked me to come out and start the or give out the awards at the Maryland State meet, but we'll be back for there. So it's good to come back to Maryland where I grew up and see a lot of familiar faces like you guys and hang out. So it's nice.
Cool. So if you could just run us through the race, like you go in two worlds. You had the big win at U.S. Championships. What were your expectations going into the meet in Daegu?
At that point it was, just take it one round at a time. I had good training leading up to it, so I had pretty high expectations for myself. But obviously, a lot of times, training's going well and just the racing isn't there. So didn't want to be overly, ambitious with my goals. And so first round, I knew it was going to be tough just to even make it through the next one. So once I got to the semi, it was more like I have to race the semi as a final, and then once I made it to the final, it's like anyone's race really. So
that semi, you won the semis.
Yeah.
And so how did you feel? Did that build up your confidence going into the final?
Yeah.
You had the kick there.
Yeah. Looking back now, I talked to Legat a little bit right before that race, and I really wanted to see pick at his mind, and be like some help with some tactics. How should I go approaching this race? And it was top 5, and that's all I was thinking is top 5. And he made a good point. Was like, in that race you just got to think top 3, top 2, and in case you fall short, then you get your top 5. And so I went in that race. It's like a lot of these guys are not gonna try winning it. They're just gonna try qualifying, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try winning it. I could care less. Like if I win, I'm in the final. That's great. So I was really pushing that last 100. So to win it, I was definitely pumped, and that gave me a lot of confidence heading to the final.
Right, and then in the finals, you looked like you looked controlled, you looked relaxed. It looked like pretty much like any race you had run in NCAA's or at the U.S. Championships. And then 200 to go, you just started, really bearing down on those guys. How'd that feel to be with the top?
I mean, it felt great. Looking back now, that last 200, it was like I was just catching each guy, like one guy, and I didn't realize how far back I went. But like with 150 to go, even though I was still pretty far back, I was real confident that I could actually medal. And coming around that last 100, I was like in 4th, and I was like, there's no way I'm hitting that plane without that's like the worst position. So, but yeah, like you mentioned earlier, like it was races early in the season, like the semi, everyone's talking about it was a hard race, it was a good race. But the funny thing is, like that same race was exactly like how I raced at the dual meet earlier that year. I ran like 346, same exact splits pretty much. And so like Corey Prim and I were going at it, and it just shows like how great college racing is for like those kind of meets later in the season.
Cool. And you came across the line, you look focused coming through at the end there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you saw that, you kind of turned back.
Yeah.
And then you realize, I've got a medal at Worlds. Like, what's the emotion that's running through your head at that point?
I mean, I was just in disbelief like the whole time. I'm like looking up at the scoreboard, and there's this funny picture of me like holding up the 3 to kip up. I'm like just trying to get the attention. Like, dude, I got 3rd. Like they could care less. But I mean, 3rd to me on that day was as good as 1st. It was awesome to represent the country at a high level like that, and to actually go out and do like what you set out to do is just a proud moment, and happy for myself and my coaches and my family.
Right, very good. And I know Otto Bolden and Lewis Johnson have talked to you about this, but 2012.
Yeah.
What's the goal? What you're going to take it one step at a time, or like do you have any goals in mind?
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. is so good now. It's like you can't think of London just yet. You got to think of the trials first. And so I've never made Olympics, obviously. So being on that Olympic team would be the first goal. And then like I did this year, then sit down, set some more goals for a month later. And so it's nice that the Olympics were pushed back forward a month earlier than the World, so it won't be as far apart.
Yeah, and are you 22 now? You're still 21?
21, so.
Still 21 and 3rd in the world.
Still go to casinos though, so
yeah.
22, there's nothing good about it, but.
Yeah, no doubt. And people have been asking, and this is more for fun, the end of NCAA's. Mm-hmm. Did the, what's the whole neck swipe thing? Is that just?
I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes you think about like what you're gonna do to cross the line. I thought that was like, it was one of those things where I was like, it's finished. Like I got a lot of, 2 years ago I was mad that I didn't make NCs or didn't make the final. Had foot problems, and then came up short the next year. So everyone's just kind of saying I couldn't do it, all that stuff. So it's just kind of like it's done, it's finished. So.
Yeah, you put it to rest.
Yeah, and so Doran and I are good friends, so he wasn't too mad, and sent me a funny message actually after, and he was like, looking back now, he's not too mad that he lost to a world bronze medalist. And when's the last time in NCAAs, he had a world championship semifinalist and a bronze medalist same race.
Right,
so.
very cool.
So college.
All right, Matt. Well, congratulations.